Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, true wealth begins with good health. All right, hello, and welcome to another episode of Telehealth Tuesday. I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt, your host for this evening, and we have an amazing show lined up just for you. This is your go-to podcast for insights on modern healthcare and wellness solutions. Before we get started with my next distinguished and amazing guest, I want to just let you guys know that Telehealth Tuesday can be viewed on multiple platforms, most notably YouTube. That is Dr. B TV. That's right, Dr. B TV, spelled out DOCTOR, the letter B and TV. So make sure you follow, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. You got to make sure to subscribe to make it count. Also, you can find us on Heart of Music, HARDT, on Instagram, and Good Faith Wellness Center on Instagram and also Facebook alike. And in addition, Good Faith Wellness Center is now accepting new patients. If you have insurance, great. We take all the plans. And if you don't, we've got a plan just for you. $99 for single, for individual. That's unlimited visits, $99 per month, automatic draft, which is cheaper than your cell phone or your gym membership or anything of the sorts, and definitely cheaper than getting your hair done every week. And also, we have couples plans for $179 and group family of 4 plan for $229. Now, let's get right into it. I want to tell you guys all about this fascinating young lady who I've just got to meet. She's backstage and she can't wait to talk to all of you guys. I'm talking about Tasha Almeida. This young lady, she began a comprehensive journey towards holistic wellness, emphasizing physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and financial health, adopting a plant-based lifestyle. Tasha Almeida focused on nutrient-rich whole foods. During this period, Tasha met Pete Almeida, who I have known for some years. He's an amazing young man, and he shared her same commitment to plant-based nutrition, and together they explored the benefits of juicing from fresh fruits and vegetables. In 2023, Tasha and Pete co-founded the Juice Lady, WPH LLC, which is a health and wellness education company. The organization offers products such as cold-pressed juices, elderberry syrup, sea moss, and et cetera, et cetera. But look, don't let me bore you anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to put it together, stand and cheer for the one, the only, Tasha Almeida. How you feeling?
I am feeling great. How are you doing, Dr. Mike?
Oh, we're doing fantastic. Look, I say this every week. The guests always say, "Man, is that me he's talking about? Is that me?"
Well, yeah. I mean, you made me sound so great, but I'm just thankful and just happy to be able to share my commitment and passion for health and wellness with those who have an ear to hear, right? That's what I like to say. Those who have an ear to hear, let them hear, and I am here for them.
Absolutely. I know there's a few things that we left out from the bio, so please fill it in if there's anything that you need the audience to know about you or your ministry or anything that I left out. Maybe you want to talk about education or where you're from originally. The floor is yours.
Okay. So Dr. Mike did mention our business, the Juice Lady WPH, that we founded in 2023. We also founded our new business, Whole Person Healthy Enterprises, in late 2025. Whole Person Healthy Enterprises focuses on an extenuation of health education in all areas of life, right? Not just limited to juicing, but just we do health consulting, we do health advocating. We do speaking engagements as well. We offer plant-based meal prep, and we also offer fresh homemade sourdough bread. So anywhere that you all need health and wellness advocates, someone to present to your church, or speaking engagements at your health and wellness fairs, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to support you on your journey of health and wellness. I am originally from the great place, the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana, and
Knowledge.
yes, New Orleans. I was born and raised, and I have been a resident of the Mississippi, of the Jackson area, for the last 20 years, since Hurricane Katrina, and Mississippi has treated me and my family very well. So I am grateful to be here. I continue to raise my daughters. I have four daughters, four beautiful, wonderful daughters that I'm very proud of, and I have a bonus son by way of my husband. So all of our children are adults, and I'm also a grandparent as well. So I have seven beautiful grandchildren whom I love so dearly as well.
Man, you're a young grandma.
Yes, grandma is different from grandma back in the 70s and 80s. So
Oh man, it's way different. I remember my mom is watching here. Um,
okay,
let's put her comment on there. Hey mom. So her mother was totally different. She had don't get me, mom, but her mom would just. We always had this funny kind of story. We think about her kind of walking through the house, and she would just kind of be kind of whistling and moseying on real slow, and all you would see was those silver rimmed glasses peering through at the night, and all you hear is whispering. And that's the grandma in a shawl,
of course, the duster. We call them dusters where I come from.
a
So
duster. Okay.
grandmothers and great grandmothers, they wore dusters, and you're right, they did walk slow. And I can recall my great grandparents putting me to bed at 5 o'clock in the evening, the same time they went to bed. So
Lord have mercy. Lord help us. Well, that's all right. We've got some wonderful people on here, so we get shout out. We highlighted my mom's comment. Crystal is with us somewhere, always supporting. So I'm so glad you are there. We've got Miss Tamika Garrett. She says good evening. AI Ficklin, who's always a huge supporter. Ty Patterson is here.
y'all,
Ty Patterson. So you saw the comment. She was
yeah.
like, "You got to get her. Look
She's
how
an
this worked
amazing
out."
young lady. She is. She's an amazing young lady, and I am always grateful to talk with her and to be in company with her. It's been a while since I've physically seen her, but it's always, just mutual respect and just love and grace whenever I get an opportunity to embrace and talk with Ty and engage with her. Hey, Mika.
Awesome. Yes, indeed. Well, I appreciate the connect. Appreciate the connection, Ty Patterson and Chelsea Moo. Yeah, Moo. That's it.
Ooh,
That's right. Lord, that's a weird smiley face there. Well, yeah. So we'll get right into it because I'm so glad, like I said, that we weren't planning on this, but the good Lord put us together, and we're gonna do it again, I'm sure.
I
But
love that.
yes, this has come together so wonderfully, and we know that it had to be in His plan. It
Yes, most definitely. Everything aligned so perfectly. It's all him. Yes.
Well, we want to get right to it. The first question we have is, and I know you and I corresponded because your company is Whole Person Healthy, so you can tell us about that and your inspiration. But we also wanted to know about what is your idea of whole person health? Like, what does that mean? And then also, what was the inspiration for Whole Person Healthy?
So whole person health is literally the description within itself, right? The whole person being healthy. So if you notice, it's not, it's not focusing on one thing. It's not just focusing on nutrition. It's not just focusing on physical fitness. It's not just focusing on spirituality. It's all of those combined, including financial fitness, emotional health, our mental wellness, right? All of those combined makes a
Right.
person, whole person healthy, and encompasses your whole person health, because you can juice all of the kale, you can eat all of the seeds and the nuts and legumes, but if you're depressed, or if you or don't know which direction to go with your finances, or if you don't have a great spiritual life, then you are not healthy, you are imbalanced, and eventually it's going to, that imbalance in one area is going to spill over to the next area. So that's why people That's why they use food as a comfort, because they're not healthy in one area. So when they're not healthy in one area, when they're depressed, when they're sad, when they feel like they need a relief, they turn to cookies and chips and all of those unhealthy foods to try to bring them comfort. So that's why it's important that we focus on the whole person, not just one aspect of health.
That's right. Absolutely. And you talked about juicing, and I know Crystal and I we were talking about it, and we've been working out, and she started juicing, just trying to get overall healthy and get some better diet and gut health and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so just would you take us, let's just pretend everyone that's listening here is a complete novice. Uh,
Okay.
Pretend I'm not a doctor, and these folks are not, whoever's watching, they're not medical professional. How do you approach juicing? How do you know what even goes in the juicer? What things go together? And even if you want to give some examples of what you use, say, okay, for example, kale, I like the fiber in it, blah, 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 or apples, so just take us through it, and how a day in the life when you start juicing for someone.
So, of course, now that I'm an experienced juicer, I have entire recipes, right? I know what goes together to blend certain nutrients that's going to either support you if you have a certain illness, or if you're trying to prevent something. Well, let's just say someone is a complete novice. At one point, I was a complete novice. I remember when my husband and we were newly dating, and I've told this story before, and I never looked at it in this way. Um, some guys will come over to your apartment, they'll bring certain things like flowers and candy and all of that, and he brought home this juicer. He brought this juicer to my apartment.
Really?
Yes, he brought a juicer to my apartment. I said, okay, so what do we do with this? And me being the like I like to say, a nerd, the paper pusher, the researcher, I said, okay, well, let's just start looking into this, because we were both new to the plant-based lifestyle. So I would say I just started with what I knew at the time. I didn't have a juicing book. I wasn't as advanced. I don't think I was even on Instagram at the time or anything like that. So I would tell people, juice what you like to drink. If you buy store-bought apple juice, grab you some apples in the store and start juicing some, let's see, envy apples. Envies are the sweetest apples, so you can make your own homemade apple juice. Don't think about specific recipes. Don't think about, oh, I need to try and mix 10 different fruit and vegetables together so I can get this perfect concoction, because then you're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to talk yourself out of it. It's going to be daunting. It's going to be tedious. So I would say I always tell people, start with what you know. It's not that difficult. Start with what you know. If you know you like apple juice, it doesn't take three different fruits to get apple juice. It takes one. So juice you some apples, and homemade apple juice is delicious. If you like orange juice, juice you some orange juice. Yes, orange juice is amazing. So if you want to get a little bit fancy and say, I want to juice apples and grapes, juice apples and grapes. Start with where you know, because health and wellness is a building block. You don't have to have it all figured out at once. You don't have to have, like certain recipes for everything all at once, because the great thing I love about plants, I may be juicing for drinking a green juice for, for my gut health, right? But plants are for everything. I'm juicing for my gut health, but it can be clearing my skin at the same time. So that's the great thing about plants. You may think, okay, I'm just juicing this apple juice because it tastes good. But at the same, you're not realizing that it's giving you that energy that you need, because apples are going to wake you up 10 times faster than coffee ever will in the morning. So because it's energy, right? It's an energy source. So we have to think about it that way, that we're getting a plethora of health benefits that's aiding us in every area of our lives when we're drinking fruits and vegetables. So I just say, start off small, start off with what you know, and apple juice is always the way to go.
All right, we've got a couple of things that have come in, but I got to make a quick comment. I got to be honest with you, Tasha. I feel some type of way because I have been allergic to apples my whole life.
Okay.
And they look so red, delicious. And I feel like whoever named the apples this from birth, I feel like something has been against me, because
Oh,
they are called literally in Kroger and all over the world red delicious.
Red delicious.
I said, why now you're just being extra, you know? Uh, but we listen, guys. We're here for your not only listening and viewing pleasure and edification, but we are also here because this is an interactive experience. So keep the comments coming, and we want to see some questions because I've got 10, 12 questions that are prepared every episode. But I'd rather hear from you guys and let her answer what you guys have.
One question.
Come
And
on. Oh, yeah.
I would love to answer because it's a question I get almost weekly in my DMs or text messages.
Brand of juicer. Yeah. Is
Yes,
there a
is
brand of
there a
juicer?
particular brand of juicer we should have? So yes, we
Shout out to Remy, by the way. That's
shout
my
out to
brother.
Remy J. Knott. Thank you for the question, and I am so happy that you're here. Thank you for your time. I don't like to take people's time for granted, so I appreciate all of you all who are here listening to us. So with a particular brand of juicer, so let's start with a particular type of juicer before we get to brand, right? So the kind of juicer that I recommend is cold press. You need to have a juicer that says cold press technology or slow masticating. Those terms are interchangeable, but you definitely need a juicer that says cold press or slow masticating. And the reason why is because that cold press juicer, it's going to that auger that's inside the juicer that actually spins, it's only moving at 50 rotations per minute, meaning that it is not heating your produce and it's moving slowly. So it is extracting all of the juice, the minerals, the vitamins, everything you need from every bit of produce that you're putting in there, whether that's leaves, spinach, kale, any and every type of produce. So you definitely want a cold press juicer because if you're heating your produce in a juicer that's not cold pressed, then you're losing minerals, nutrients, and vitamins. So we definitely want a cold press juicer. So now when it comes to brand of juicers, we started with a Breville, and we worked that Breville. We worked that Breville until it would not go anymore. Like literally, we worked
Breville.
it out. Yeah.
What?
Now think about Breville, Breve as in Victor, ILLE. So it's been 7 years since we've had a Breville. I would say this: the downside of the Breville that we had, that thing was very noisy and it was extremely difficult to clean, but we used it. So then my top juicers that I do recommend, Nama makes great juices. We did graduate to the Nama J1. We currently have the Nama J2, and we do have the Cubings. We literally just had delivered last week the Cubings, the new Cubings Auto 10 Plus, and we also have the Cubings commercial juicer for our business as well. So I recommend Nama juices. I recommend Cubings and also Ninja. You all know Ninja has come a long way with their
That's what I
appliance.
have. Yeah,
They
that's what I have.
do have a cold press juicer, and it is beginner friendly. Sometimes you can catch it on sale, and I know sometimes price point is a factor for people, but some of these companies are now offering payment plans with these juicers. So I really encourage you to please invest in a cold press juicer. Huron also makes a great cold press juicer as well. HUROM. That's Huron. So those are the juices that I recommend.
You that's excellent. Let's you say HURO.
RUHUROM. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Let me go back here. Tamika says, "Rooted and renewed."
Yeah.
Master class begins this Thursday, April 16th. The class is only $139. She's allowing us to make two separate payments. So is that your class?
It is my class. It is our class that's connected to our Whole Person Healthy Enterprises. It is our first master class, and we are beginning the class this coming Thursday. It's going to be a 4-week class every Thursday from 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time to 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to talk about juicing. We're going to talk about holistic health. We're going to talk about gut health. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. We're going to talk about easy meal planning and meal prep. We're going to talk about how you can stay true to your wellness goals when you're not in your controlled environment, right? Your controlled environment is your home. And that's the biggest question I get from people. How do I stay true to my wellness goals when I'm at the family function, when I'm at the party, when I'm at work, things like that? So we're going to talk about a lot of different things in this master class. Thank you, Tamika, for dropping that information and for always being one of my biggest supporters.
Absolutely. We have
Other questions. Okay, Ty asks,
ah,
coming
there we
from
go. Yeah.
what I call a food capital, it most definitely is that, ma'am. How easy was it to change your eating? Was there an urgent moment of,
Nicole.
okay, and that's a great question because I do get that question a lot. I, for full transparency, it wasn't a health crisis in my own life that, started me on this journey of health and wellness. But what I will say is that, and I tell people, my mom, she lives in Denver currently with my brother and sister-in-law. And, she lived in New Orleans, of course, before she moved there. But when my mom would come here to the Jackson area to visit my children, I remember one day just watching her sit at my kitchen table with this caddy full of pills. And it just, something just really struck in me that, I'm like, it broke my heart to see her taking all of those pills, but I knew I didn't want that for my life as I, matured and became seasoned in life. I said, I don't want to do that. Something has to give. I need to do something differently. So, but coming from New Orleans, and I'll be honest with you, once I made that decision to, to transition to veganism, to the plant-based lifestyle, I've never looked back. I tell people my only regret in life is that I didn't do it sooner. And prior to being plant based, I was vegetarian. I've done the vegetarian lifestyle. I've done pescatarian, where I only consume seafood. And I go home quite frequently. We just had our 30-year class reunion last year. And my husband and I were the only two vegans there. So I know how to operate and move in spaces where there are traditional foods. I like to call those traditional foods, and there's a limited or maybe no menu available for myself, right? So it's really when I lived at home, it's an echo. When I lived at home and visited home after I moved here, I ate and enjoyed all the things. Everything that New Orleans had to offer, gumbo to seafood to beignets, that used to be my absolute favorite. Um,
Beignets, yeah.
Pool boys, everything. But I have no regrets. When I ate it and I enjoyed it, but I moved on from it. And it's important to understand I don't like veganize those foods, if that makes any sense, right? I don't try to recreate those foods into a vegan lifestyle or anything like that. So I just moved on from it. I'm just being honest because it's the discipline that I have for my life, and I know which direction I want to go and how I want to thrive. And it all starts in the mind. I tell people it all starts in the mind. Once you shift your mindset and say, hey, this is where I am and this is how I want to grow and how I want to thrive, it's nothing about what I used to eat that entices me to want to go back.
That's right. That's right. Nicole Grove McWilliams, what would you juice for inflammation in your body? Excellent question.
Excellent question. And we do have an immunity inflammation juice blend on our website. Definitely turmeric. Turmeric. You got to get turmeric in your
Turmeric.
life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have an inflammation, again, immunity juice blend on our website. So, and I'm happy to share the recipe. The ingredients are on our website. So what we juice, so you got to juice the oranges. So um, when I say the oranges, the orange fruits and the orange vegetables. So carrot, juice turmeric, and we have oranges, pineapples, all of those vitamin C's. We have apples in that juice blend as well, and we use a little bit of black pepper just to activate that turmeric. So you definitely want to get some turmeric in you for inflammation, and it's going to support you with gut inflammation, but also any type of joint inflammation as well. So you definitely want to start getting turmeric inside your system consistently. And that's where sometimes some people actually stop. They may drink one juice or they start a regimen for a couple of days or maybe a week, and then they give up on it because they may not be seeing the results that they want to see. But I would encourage you to keep going because whatever condition your body is in currently, it didn't get there overnight. So it's going to take more than one juice or 1 week or one clean meal to correct that.
That's right. That's right. The upcoming master class, can they register for the master class on your website?
So they can register for the masterclass if they go to our link tree, Whole Person Healthy, and then they'll see there's a questionnaire, and I will actually put the link to that questionnaire in the Facebook Live portion of this broadcast, so people can complete that questionnaire and all of the information they need to register for the class before Thursday. Thank you, Mika.
Yeah, that's excellent. Let's see. Tamika says, what would you suggest helping those of us who are emotional eaters or snackers?
Great question. So
Yeah, thank
emotional eaters and snackers, first of all, if it's not in the house, then you can't eat it. That's the first thing. You know,
boom.
if it's not in the house, you can't eat it no matter how much you're crying, no matter how sad you feel in that moment. If those Doritos aren't there, then you're not grabbing those Doritos. But if that banana, the apple, the orange is there, or even some healthy nuts, if you need something to snack on those. You know, things like also cucumbers or celery, or a dollop of peanut butter, things like that. Get you some healthy snacks. See, we have to start replacing the unhealthy snacks with the healthy snacks, and we have to make a conscious decision to do so. So if you know you're battling emotional eating, the first thing is we gotta bypass that stuff at the grocery store, right? That inner perimeter is it messes a lot of people up. The inner perimeter of the store is where the aisles are. That's where the
Mhm.
aisles are, and that's where the candies are. That's where the cookies are. That's where the
All the candy.
are. Everything that people love, those Debbie snack cakes and everything else, all of that's in the inner
Mm.
perimeter. So avoid the inner perimeter as much as possible. Don't even look at it. You know, make sure that you're visiting the produce section for as long as you need to, right? Because you need to understand what fruit and vegetables that I want to consume, that I like, that are going to be best for my body, or that will bring me that emotional support, or you know, when I am feeling this way, right? It's
That's right.
springtime. There are so many wonderful fruits that are in season right now. Strawberries are in season. We still have seeded grapes if you can find them, plums, peaches, all of those wonderful fruit and vegetables are in season right now. So I encourage you all to grab those and you know, start experimenting with different fruit as well. If you've never had an apricot before, try those. Those are really good as well.
So you talked about seeded. It's just interesting because I was listening to what you were saying. You talked about the seeded grapes. Are like, do you prefer those over the seedless, grapes?
I do prefer seeded fruit over anything that's not seeded. Unseeded fruits or GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So
Hmm.
if I can find, you know, that's why I only use seeded grapes in our recipes. I only buy seeded grapes, and I understand that they can be difficult to find. So I
Hmm.
would encourage people to buy seeded fruit as often as you can. And I know there's a big debate about seeded, unseeded. Should I buy it? Should I not buy it? So my take also on unseeded fruit is this. If the choices are a honey bun and some unseeded grapes, I'm going with the unseeded grapes.
We're going to see the grapes all day,
The unseeded grapes,
all day.
I'm not eating the honey bun. If those were the only two choices and I was starving and I said I have to eat something, it's either these not, you know, the grapes that are unseeded or this honey bun. I am not taking that chemicalized honey bun. I am not taking that honey bun with all of that processed sugar and those probably 20, 30 ingredients that's in that little 2-ounce package. I'm not taking those. So the unseeded grapes will not kill me in that moment, but I'm not taking a chance with the honey bun.
Well, there you go. I don't think it could be made any more plain. Ty Patterson says a raw red bell pepper is a favorite sweet treat of mine. Lots of energy.
It is. It is a great vegetable and also full of vitamin C because bell peppers have more vitamin C than oranges. So, and that's why they're in our juice blends as well. So, bell peppers are great. I love sweet peppers. I use all of the colorful bell peppers, not just in juicing, but for cooking as well.
Here we talked about Dexter Mayberry. Ladies and gentlemen, Dexter Mayberry is joining us. Boosted Herbalit.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, and that's, yeah, we were, so when we did a talk last year, uh, I think was that November, October, I don't know. But anyway, Dexter's always doing different things. We had a men's talk there, and I know you and your husband were there, and then he's had a woman's talk
Yes.
earlier this year, and I saw Dr. Christina Gladney and some other folks. So big shout out to you, Dexter, and Boosted Herbalit. Uh,
Dexter.
yeah, man, for
You're
all the work
absolutely
you're
right.
doing.
That's
Let's
why
give it
you
up for Dexter.
recommend unseeded fruit.
So he's saying, yes, if fruits don't have seeds, you can't reproduce it. And if you can't reproduce it and you're constantly eating it, then it can affect your reproductive system.
It can. That's why there are many different fruits, right? Like I said, I named so many that are in season currently. So I would tell people, don't limit yourself to one. If you can't find seeded grapes, get you something else to have a seed in it. If like plums or peaches, of course, apples, oranges, all of those good fruit. So hey, listen, there are over 80,000 edible plants, right? No one says that you have to eat or even like all 80,000 of them. Pick the ones that you like. Pick the ones that are going to give you the nutrients and minerals you need, and you are going to be well.
Yeah, that's right. I could not agree more. So wow, I'm gonna have to try those. All right. Um, let's go to our second question here.
Okay.
So in terms of energy now, this is something that I know you kind of touched on it, and we're talking about what to juice and things like that. But the next question is about energy. What can we do to help? Because this is such a problem. So many people in this country, because of so many factors. You got a lot of single families where usually the mother. Of course, we're not leaving fathers out, but usually they're living with one parent. They're sometimes doing multiple jobs, or even if it's somebody with only one job or no children, but they're working themselves to the bone. They're trying their best to stay healthy, maybe even going to the gym in the morning or at at night, and just frankly killing themselves to make ends meet. And so much stress and so much fatigue. What can people do when it comes to that for energy? What can they do right now if they want to take the master class and they say, I'm going to buy a Ninja or whatever a juicer, and I want to start right now so I can get off these Red Bulls and all this other crap that all of us drink? What can they do right now?
So if they want to start juicing right now, they can juice any kind of fruit and vegetables to give them energy, right? So, and that's the great thing about juicing, because juicing removes the insoluble fiber, which is going to make the juice smoother. You're still getting the soluble fiber in juicing, but it's going to remove the insoluble fiber, and the juice is getting in your bloodstream quickly, like almost immediately, and it gives you a great boost of energy. So whatever juice that you're drinking, you're going to get an immediate burst of energy. And another reason is why is because, as opposed to eating like 5 or 6 apples, you can get so much juice. You can get a lot of servings of fruit and vegetables when you're juicing. So that's another great aspect of juicing. Not only are you going to get energy, not only are you going to just get those key nutrients and minerals that you need immediately in your bloodstream, but you're going to get more servings of fruit and vegetables into your bloodstream, and it's going to support you with energy, because eating whole foods, even if you're drinking them in juicing form, getting whole foods in, whole foods has nutrients. It has those phytonutrients that we need so that we can stay energized throughout the day and start your day that way, right? Sometimes people make the mistake of starting their day with heavy food, starting their day with coffee. Don't start your day off with
Yeah.
coffee. Drink some water. Drink, because you don't want to spike the cortisol. Your cortisol is already spiked because you're stressed about however life is lifing in your life. You're already stressed about that. So don't spike
Yeah.
your cortisol levels even higher by starting the day off with coffee, or starting the day off with pancakes or grits or bacon and things of that nature, right? You start your day off with whole foods so that you're telling your neurotransmitters in your body, hey, this is I'm waking you up. You're waking up your cells with whole food. So if you want to start juicing, I would say go ahead and start juicing any kind of fruit and vegetables that you may have already in your home, or if you just want to go to the grocery store and pick up a few things, pick up the ones you like and throw them in that juicer and start drinking.
I'm I'm gonna we've got a big one here from Tamika, and then I'm gonna read Dexter Mayberry's. But Tasha, that's one of the things, like you talked about starting our day off, and I know many of us do that, and
Mhm.
with coffee and things like that. But a lot of patients will ask me, they come in, man, Dr. Bookhardt, um, I've been on this hydrochlorothiazide or losartan or whatever for blood pressure for 20 years. And they'll say, even before they come to us at Good Faith Wellness Center, shameless plug. And they'll say, hey, why is it that Dr. So-and-so or a nurse practitioner, so-and-so didn't say, let's try to get you off of this. Let's try to get some weight loss. Let's try to juice and cleanse and do what we need to do to get you off of this. And then some patients even say, I even asked my doctor, hey, if you're starting me on metformin for diabetes or newly diagnosed diabetes, is this something I'll take for the rest of my life, or can I keep off one day by changing my diet? Literally, a branch manager asked me that at Trustmark a few months ago, and this person said the doctor told them, no, you're going to be on this the rest of your life. I mean, this is absolute. And people say, well, why don't more people push like what your expertise is in juicing and naturopathic? I said, because that would make more people healthy.
Yes.
And you need the medication.
Exactly. So, and let me just say this with respect to your profession, Dr. Mike. We don't, in America, we don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system. We have sick care. And the reasons why there are physicians outside of yourself, right, that are pushing what you just said that doctor told that young lady, as far as, no, this medication is going to be your way of life, instead of talking to this lady about, juicing or changing her diet. Because number one, you can't patent fruit and vegetables. They cannot patent it. They cannot make any money off of it. They cannot make any money off it, but they can support big pharma in making money off those prescription drugs, right? So that's why it's important for patients, for the community, to find a doctor such as yourself that is open-minded to holistic cleansing and getting to the root cause of the issues and addressing diet change and wellness with patients and people, right? Because the one thing I do tell people, being a holistic practitioner, if someone comes to me, which we have a blood pressure management juice blend, I'm not going to tell you drink this juice, throw away those blood pressure pills.
Right.
Because first of all, I am not a medical practitioner, and everyone knows I am not. And I say I'm not a medical practitioner, but I believe in, let's get you there. We want to get you off this medication. We want to reduce the frequency, and at some point we want to get you off it. But I'm not going to say, here's this beet juice, now throw those pills away, because
Exactly.
that's not the best approach to getting people well. The best approach is to work with their physician, but they have to find a physician that's really going to be bought into the idea of health is wealth, and that food is that medicine. Herbs are medicine. Herbs are medicine. Food is medicine, right? Instead of telling people, oh no, you're going to be on this, medicine for the rest of your life. I will run away from that doctor as
That's what I
fast
told
as I can, because that is not the best approach. And then also, not only are you telling this woman that, but you're killing their spirit, right? That's where
That's
whole
right.
person healthy comes in. The whole person, you're killing that person's spirit, and then people, are ingesting this mentally and emotionally and physically. So, everything works together. You can't tell people that they're going to be on medicine for the rest of their life. Just take it and move on. Excuse me. But no, I believe that people need to find a practitioner such as yourself that they can work with, and so that they can get to the root cause. Because honestly, high blood pressure is not the root cause. What is the root cause of the high blood pressure? To be honest, cancer is not the root cause of an illness. Cancer is the manifestation of whatever that root cause is. Is it inflammation? Is it too much acidity in the body? Is it too much sugar in your body? Because cancer thrives on sugar. So
Thrives on sugar.
yes, we need to get to the root cause of these illnesses, and it's not going to be with this pill, that pill, this pill, and that pill. So I would say people need to find a physician that's going to listen to them, listen to their concerns, and listen to their questions, because there's a lot of information out here, and people have questions. There are people who are open to changing their diet. They just need to understand what they need to do so that they can start that journey.
I could not agree more. And we got to put that on like a sound bite. If we had like one day, like I always say, we're going to claim it that we'll become nationally syndicated. And one day, I love doing virtual, but one day, we're going to go into those studios. We've already put some bids in with some of the big named networks here. And we're going to be there, and we're going to have an editor, and we want somebody to be able, who's on staff, to be able to cut that up right then and send that as a clip, because they need to hear that entire soundbite of what you just said.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah,
Go
go ahead. Well, no, I was going to say you're right about that, because there's so many, and this is honestly, I was joking about the shameless plug, but this is not even a plug for Good Faith Wellness Center. Even if it's not us, you definitely, there's two things that I always tell people. I'm going to add the one that you said, because the first thing I've said my whole career, if somebody tells you, even if they're an oncologist, and there's one here in Jackson, Mississippi, who's an amazing oncologist, the one thing I don't agree with is he walks in the room and he tells somebody, you've got pancreatic cancer, you've got 4 weeks to live, get your affairs in order. And even sometimes he's even accurate. But I said, look, if a doctor or a professional or a healthcare professional walks in your room to tell you what your life is going to be and what your life expectancy is just like that, and leaves it at that, that was my main thing to say. You need to run and get somebody else second opinion. But also what you said, if somebody else comes and tells you that you need to, their goal for you is to just stay on this poison for the rest of your life, you darn sure need to run.
Exactly. You need to run, because let's just think about this for a second logically. If a person is going to be on pills for the rest of their life, they definitely will need another pill and another pill and another pill to combat those symptoms, more pills to counteract other symptoms. So you ever see the commercials where they're plugging whatever drug it is of the week that they're plugging, and then at the bottom, small font, and then the narrator is speaking so fast when it comes to the side effects, and I'm just looking like, really? Right. So you want this person to take this for that, but then they can have diarrhea, headaches, vomiting, everything else, just for taking this one pill. So they're going to have to take other pills to combat all of the symptoms from the pill that they're taking, plus whatever they're taking the original pill for. It's just too much. It's just too much. So you're absolutely right. I see a couple of questions, Dr.
Yeah, Tamika. Yeah, let's go to Tamika Garrett's, if you don't mind, the juice that you recommend for women cleansing their bodies.
So this juice blend I recommend for women, men, children, everybody. I always tell people, when they ask me, the question I get when I'm at vending events or if I'm consulting with someone about juicing, what should I start off with? I always say a green juice. If they ask me which one is my favorite, a green juice. And not because it's necessarily taste the best, because I'm obsessed with gut health, right? So we got to get the gut clean, because if your gut isn't healthy, you are not healthy. You are not healthy if your gut is not healthy. So always start with a green juice. Always drink green juice as often as you can, because the nutrients and the minerals in that juice, they are detoxifying, they're cleansing. So let me just say this. I like to use the term cleansing because we know the organs are actually the detoxifiers, right? And there are people who are testy about those words. So the organs themselves are doing the detoxifying, but we have to create the right conditions in order for our organs to be able to detox themselves. So we create the conditions by cleaning our gut, right? So we clean our gut with a green juice. But I also want to say this. You can't drink green juice and then go drink a vodka tonic after that, because you are combating your wellness goals. The two don't mix.
Say that again for the people in the back. I'm sorry.
You can't drink a green juice at 12 o'clock and at happy hour drink a vodka tonic. So, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. And the same with a margarita, right? You can't drink a green juice at 12 and then go sit at the Mexican bar with your queso and cheese and your margaritas.
Oh, mercy. Help us. Help us. You're stepping on toes.
I know I'm stepping on toes. I know I am. But I have to be honest, because I care with a godly compassion. I really do. I care with a godly compassion so much. So I have to be honest with people. I do. I have to be honest with the people. You can't just, say, oh, I drank this green juice and then later I can go ahead and just live however I want to live and it's all going to balance itself out. Because we like to use that term a lot now. Balance is the new that's the new buzzword, right? There's so many buzzwords now.
I'm sorry, what is it? The new buzzword is
the new buzzword, balance. Everybody believes in balance, but what does that balance look like, right? And your idea of balance may be different from my idea of balance. See, my idea of balance is like last week I had a small piece of a vegan brownie, but I don't eat dessert often. I might have a dessert once every blue moon. That's a balance for me. But you can't a balance isn't a green juice by day and vodka tonic 3 times a week. That's not a healthy balance. Or a margarita 3 times a week. That's not a healthy balance. So in order to get your body used to something different, right? You have to give it whole foods. You have to give it things that it isn't used to or it's not used to getting often so that it can do something differently for you.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Let's go to let's see, we've got one from Todd Patterson, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
then I'll go to my mom's question. Are
Okay.
there fruit and veggie suggestions that are better to eat plain rather than juicing?
That is a good question. So
That's an interesting question.
so the good fruit and vegetables, eating them in their original form is always top tier, right? Eating them in their original form is always top tier. Juicing is second best. And I always say that juicing is second best, but eating fruit and vegetables in their original form is always top tier, especially with the skin on, because that's where you're going to get your insoluble fiber. So I'm going back to things like apples and plums that have skin on them, right? I remember when I was growing up, I didn't want my apples with the skin on it, but I didn't have the knowledge as a 10-year-old that I have now. So you definitely want, if you're eating your fruits, just eating them plain, eat them with the skin on, right? Eat them with the skin on because that's where your insoluble fiber is. Insoluble fiber, think of it as a broom. It's sweeping through your body, it's sweeping through your gut. It's fiber that's sweeping through your gut, making sure it's cleaning things out, making sure it's bulking up your stool. Because stool is 75% water. So that's insoluble fiber comes in where it's bulking up your stool so it can pass through your gut, pass through your colon, and it don't get stuck there and start rotting as toxins.
That's right. That's a great point to make. That's a great point. Mom says she has a comment and says, since you mentioned your allergy to apple, you said out of state, that is the only. Okay, that might have been a typo, but you said that's the only allergy you've ever had. So you know what? I want to make a point out of that though. So my mom talked about my apple allergy. Let me say this, Tasha, and I think a lot of people we use allergy, we misuse it so much, right, in the world. So when people come into the hospital, now that I'm doing hospital medicine again, and they'll say, well, I'm allergic to penicillin, and, it gives me a rash, and then I'm allergic to this and this. But then they'll say, well, this particular medicine or this fruit or this food gives me more congestion or makes me sneeze. And I want to just point out that from a medical perspective, people, let's just be careful with the term allergies. When I say apples, back in the day, it used to give me hives, meaning big whelps and hives. So that's a dangerous one. And some people who have like a true peanut allergy where they have to keep an EpiPen on them because their throat will close up. So that's severe. But I just wanted to point out that just because something may give you a little congestion or make you cough up something or sneeze is not an allergy. So when you go in the hospital, you probably could leave that off because the more allergies that you list, it makes it a little more difficult.
Makes it more difficult to be treated, right? Yeah. And I understand that. Of course, again, I'm not a medical practitioner, but my husband has a tree nut allergy. So that's why, I don't cook with walnuts or things like that. I eat nuts for myself, but he's not able to eat them because he really does have a tree nut allergy, and it's a real allergy. I remember one night he works late at night, so one night I had made me a smoothie after I worked out, and I left some of it in the blender. So he came home one night, and I remember for some reason I put walnuts in it that night. And I usually if I do something like that, I'll leave a note on it. I didn't think he was gonna drink the rest of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the rest of it. He told me the next morning. He said he almost woke me up because he thought his throat was starting to close. So,
Lord.
Like, oh my God, I don't want to kill my husband with walnuts. So, yeah.
Pete, you better be on the lookout. She might have a policy on you.
But yeah, I'm very familiar with allergies. So again, he has a tree nut allergy, and we're really careful with it, especially when we, visit other cities that are more vegan friendly, and we like to partake of the food in those places. So the first thing we ask is, does this have nuts in it?
Yeah, that's right. Uh, Dexter made a comment that people are going to have to take responsibility for their own health because today in the medical field, they have very little empathy and knowledge about holistic health medicine. They get away from standard American diet. You know, Dexter, you're right. And to your point, that's what we were discussing earlier. And it really is sad because people say, well, how is it that you guys take the Hippocratic Oath and say we do no harm and all that good stuff? And we're medical professionals with all this years of training and school, but yet you either don't push the naturopathic side or holistic, or you don't know. And I said, yeah, it's a combination of both. Now, like you said, me personally, I do push, but in terms of knowledge, anything that I know, I've had to either learn from people, like yourself, or in just reading, Googling, or whatever, and going to the medical journals. Because, and again, Dexter, people, they're not going to do that in the medical field. And you remember, Dexter, when we did that event for the men's, and Dexter said to me, he came up to me, you remember this, Dexter? He said, I've never heard a doctor say what you just said. I remember I said on there, and I think they recorded and made a video, and I said, listen, in the medical field, and especially in hospital medicine, I said, even in our contracts, we get paid a bonus for the more patients that we have, and the more complex and the sicker they are. At the end of every quarter, doctors are making $10, $15, and $20,000 a quarter because you are keeping more and more people sick and complicated in the hospital. So it behooves the medical professional for you to be sick and for us to keep you in the hospital.
But see, Dexter is right. That's absolutely terrible. That's
Terrible.
Our health is our responsibility, and we have to take control of it. The standard American diet produces standard American diseases. And when I say standard American diseases, because a lot of the food that's allowed here in the United States, the ingredients are banned in Europe. They're banned in other countries, right? Some of the food dyes that are allowed here in the United States, they're banned in Europe. You can't even get Skittles in Europe, right?
Wow.
And the candy Skittles is, we enjoy Skittles growing up, Starburst, those different things.
It's coated in lard.
Yes. And the food dyes alone are killing people. And then you also have to think about it this way. I'm an advocate for reading ingredients. The foods today, I don't even call them food, I call them food products. The food products on the shelves, they have a laundry list of ingredients for simple things. Simple things like, bread. They're trying to get people with, I did a video a few weeks ago about Pop-Tarts. They know how much people in the United States are, they're obsessed with protein. See, they're watching patterns. They know people are obsessed with protein, so they want to put protein in everything now. Oh, these Pop-Tarts have 10 grams of protein. Okay, what else they got? Flip it over to the back. But they got 60% sugar in here. They have blue one, they have yellow dye, they have red in here, but you trying to gimmick me with these 10 grams of protein, but you're bypassing the other ingredients. That's why I tell people, please don't fall for the okie doke. It's an okie doke. But you have to care about yourself. You have to care about yourself. You have to make a conscious decision and say, hey, I'm not going to live on this medication for the rest of my life. I'm not going to walk with a limp. I'm not going to be tired when I walk up 3 stairs, not 3 flights, 3 stairs. I'm going to give my body whole foods, living food, so that I can not only live, but that I can thrive as well.
That's right. That's right. I love the passion, man. I love the passion. Dexter, Mom, this comment will be for you here, Mom. This comment I think will be for you, Mom. He says that people have to also, this is a big one, flush their lymphatic system, movement. I can't say this enough. You hearing it again, Mom? Movement, but look,
yes.
I get on her. I get on her, but she's trying to move.
You have to move your body because
movement.
The lymphatic system, that's our sewer system, right? How are you going to cleanse the sewer system out if you're stagnant, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, on top of eating junk foods, eating foods that are not nourishing to our bodies, and then you're just sitting here all day. You're not moving. You know, you're not cleansing the digestive system. All of those paths of eliminations, right? And see, toxins. The thing about toxins, they don't want to stay there. They want to force themselves out. So if they can't leave your body through the digestive system, your lymphatic system, guess where they're going to go? Through the biggest organ, and that's your skin. So that's why you see people with eczema. That's why you see people with rashes and acne and all sorts of skin problems, because that's toxins trying to force its way out of the body. So you definitely have to move the body. You definitely have to give it whole foods, nutrient dense foods, so that you can support yourself wholly. WHOLLY. You want to support yourself wholly, right? You can't just stay stagnant. You can't just have a sedentary lifestyle. You can't Netflix and chill all day and night, 7 days a week. And there are things that you can do. If you, I mean, walking is free. I tell people that all the time.
Walking is
Walking
free.
is free. Can't nobody tell you, oh, you need a gym membership to walk. That's not true. You can walk in the park. You can walk in your neighborhood. It,
Hello.
you can do that, and that's how I started. Because when my children were young and I started, wanting to look at my health in a different way and definitely wanted to move my body. All I had was walking. I was a young single parent at the time. I couldn't afford any of the gym memberships and things that I invest in now, but walking was free, and that's what I did. So you can walk, and if you can't or don't feel comfortable walking in your neighborhood, get in a room in your house and start doing some high knees. There are things that you can do. There are things that we all can do. I tell people, if you don't feel comfortable going in the gym, get you a $20 rope on Amazon, because that's where I bought mine from. Get you a $20 rope, get in your driveway or your garage or some room in your house and jump some rope. You can jump rope, you can walk, you can do simple things. There are small changes, adds up to big results.
Man, I couldn't look. I could not agree more. And like I say, in her defense, she is at least. I do applaud you, Mom, for finally years later going to my partner, who's a chiropractor, going there, doing, trying to, improve nutrition, going to the lymphatic people, the doctors, and all that, getting out, getting some sunshine, vitamin D, and moving around.
Oh, yeah,
Because
definitely.
oh yeah. So
Definitely.
let's see. Research. People have to. Let me go. Okay, Dexter says, unfortunately, people are expecting God, Jesus, to manage their health. People are using religion for the lack of responsibility. Yeah, I couldn't
They
say
do,
more, man. I
but
couldn't.
they do. Let's see, but that goes back to accountability and a shift in mindset, right? I can't shift your mindset for you. I can give you the knowledge, I can give you tools, I can give you resources, but if you don't have a made up mind and say, I'm going to do this for me, then I can't force you, or Dexter can't, Dr. Mike can't, my husband, no one else can force you, even Mr. Charles. Nobody can say, hey, this is this is what I recommend, or this is some information. So if people are living in that mindset of, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it for myself with my own two eyes, people in the church with diabetes and things like that, and say all I got to do is fall on the altar and Jesus is going to heal.
Oh man, don't even get me.
But that's a different conversation for a
That
different table.
you and my mom, Aunt Della, I'm calling you out. I don't, Aunt Della, are you on this thing? I'm gonna go ahead and call you out. If she's probably not on here, but Mom, you need to send your sister this, because she got to stop eating bacon. She's not gonna stop now. She's
But
almost
you know
90.
what?
But you got to stop. She said the Lord is just gonna help. The Lord is gonna. She said I just end
But
up
God gives us
praying
free
over it.
will.
No,
God gives us free will.
He does.
So, I mean, bacon is a top one carcinogen. And I know people in Mississippi will die on the hill behind bacon. They've even told me, and the thing about bacon and pork is not just regulated to our people. All people like it. I'm just floored. And I've seen
Everybody like bacon.
they
Yeah.
like bacon and they want it. They don't care if it got worms in it. I'm telling you, yeah, I'm like, pork is not good for you. They don't care. They want it. So I let them be. But hey, even the World Health Organization, WHO for short, says that ultra processed foods, including bacon, is a top one carcinogenic. Top one carcinogenic means cancer causing. But then there are some people that have the mindset of you got to die of something one day.
That's
Okay,
what they say. That's
But
what
you're gonna get there faster than what you thought you were going to get there. And then I also have people that say, "Well, my grandmama and them ate that in the, I guess, the 60s and 70s." Your grandparents didn't eat food products, because I can tell you this: the food that your grandparents ate are different from the food that's on the shelves today. So you
boom.
can try to live another 30 years eating the food that's out here today, thinking because your grandmother lived to be 70 that you're going to live to be 70 eating the food that they are putting on the shelves today. It's not going to happen.
I could not agree more. Let's see if I can go through these. Let's see. We'll try to do a rapid fire and
Okay.
get through because I want to hit everybody. So Keisha
Okay.
Baker, do you do juicing to clear out toxins and parasites, or is it oral medicine? Oh, okay. Are you saying what's better for cleansing?
All
And
of
you're
it.
talking toxins and parasites.
So parasites, I tell people we all got parasites, especially if you eat cooked food, even vegans. If you eat
Yeah.
cooked food, you got parasites, and we gotta get them out the body, because parasites thrive in that environment. And we do have a parasite cleanser on our website. However,
Okay.
papaya and the seeds, great for cleansing. Get you some papaya, and then there are herbs that we can tell you. There are herbs like wormwood, oregano, pumpkin seeds. Parasites don't like those sorts of things. So get you some pumpkin seeds, get you some papaya, and swallow the pumpkin. I'm sorry, swallow the papaya seeds, because parasites don't like those. Get you some. You can get the herbs, the wormwood, oregano, all of oregano. Parasites don't like those. So definitely get the herbs and get those foods and fruits that are cleansing parasites out of your system. And you can't just do it one time. You have to
Right. Exactly.
be consistent.
And
Consistency breeds results.
so I wanted we'll just do a virtual tag again to Lily James, my mother. We getting on you tonight because I try to tell her, and just like all the patients, look, they're expecting this overnight thing. Okay, after a few days or this medication or whatnot. Well, I feel the same, so I'm gonna stop taking it, just like antidepressants and other things.
Yes.
And it is a known fact that a lot of medication, especially antidepressants and some other cholesterol medicine, they're going to take 3 to 4 weeks just to really get balance in your
Yes.
system.
Yes.
Out. You're not going to experience this metaphoric
Right.
change, this metamorphosis change, or this euphoria, or whatever it is you're seeking immediately. It's not.
Exactly.
Uh,
Tamika's asking, what's one challenge you have to maintain your healthy living?
yeah.
Great question. So I would say the number one challenge that I have, but really not a challenge because I always have a plan, is no ding on this great state, but is that I live in Mississippi and that the state isn't progressive with my lifestyle, right? So I mean that
Absolutely.
there aren't plant-based options in many places here, because let's just be honest, no one wants to cook every day of the week, and I love to cook, but there's going to come a time that you have to eat outside of the home, right? So but for me, and what we're going to talk about in Rooted and Renewed, is you got to have a plan, because I know that about where I am. I always have a plan. If I know, okay, this place has at least one vegan option, or I can go there, or I bring my food with me, or I eat before I go to whatever event that I'm going to. But that is the biggest challenge, is that Mississippi isn't progressive with the vegan lifestyle. So, but to get around that, I just make sure that I'm prepared in any space that I'm in so that I can always nourish my body.
Absolutely. Let's see. Faith without works is dead. Some Michelle. Now you got to go on, Michelle, with this eat bacon and pray. We're not even gonna
That. Oh,
Michelle's kitchen. We're not even gonna go over this
oh
foolishness.
goodness. Okay, ma'am. If that's your way of living, okay. Then
Yeah,
I mean, all right. Okay.
yeah. That's why I say we moving on.
Okay.
We wanted to go ahead and quote while you were discussing it. I actually put the sentence that's on there from the World Health Organization, like you said, processed meats, including bacon, as a Group 1 carcinogen, and it also indicates sufficient evidence that it causes
There you go.
sufficient evidence that it causes colorectal cancer.
And let's stop right there for a second, Dr. Mike, because I've been
we
on
got something for you.
Okay, I've been on this push about colorectal cancer, because colorectal cancer is now affecting people 50 and younger and at higher rates than it ever has before. When I was younger, I'm talking about a young girl, colon cancer was an old people thing, right? People got colon cancer when they were much older in life, but now you're seeing people getting colon cancer much younger. Our beloved Chadwick Boseman, who was our Black Panther, passed away, I think 46 or something like that, from colon cancer. James Vanderbeek just passed away from colon cancer. And if you all are familiar with Anyala Banzant, her oldest daughter died at 32 years old in the 90s from colon cancer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So colon, and the reason why is because of ultra processed foods, and people aren't getting enough fiber in their diet. You've got to get your daily recommended amount of fiber. For adults, that's between 25 and 30 grams a day of fiber. If you're not getting enough fiber in your diet, then your colon is full of toxins. If your colon starts producing toxins, then that's where people develop colon cancer. I am on this crusade to educate people about the importance of getting enough fiber. Now, we all know protein is important. I am not saying that, but we get protein in, but it is a documented fact that Americans are obsessed with protein, but we are not as nearly obsessed with fiber in a way that we should be.
Agreed. Let's see. Next to me, what we've been told: soul food is the biggest high. Okay, I think we've gotten caught up here. Soul food is the cause of the biggest high crisis, especially among African Americans. Death food products, and people want change in their health, but yet they don't want to change everything we put in our mouth is either making a better health deposit or making a health withdrawal.
And he's absolutely right, because every time you eat, you're either feeding disease or you're preventing or curing it. So what's on the other end of that fork? What is on the other end of that fork? Either you're feeding that disease or you're preventing or curing disease. So again, the choice is yours. Dexter, Dr. Mike, me, we can't save everybody. If they don't want to change, then they don't want to change. But what I don't entertain, because the information is out here. There's someone I'm connected with on Facebook. This man has a plethora of health problems, and he's on there, I promise you, every week begging for prayers. Begging for prayers while he's in the hospital getting some procedure that he's getting on a weekly basis. Poor man. And then he's asking people if they can bring McDonald's to the hospital for him. He's posting his fat back and ribs and all of this the next week. And then I promise you, it's no hyperbole. The next week, he's back begging for prayers for his multiple health conditions.
Oh, Lord, this
does not want to change. Does not want to change. So me, and in my mind, I'm not going to comment anything rude on his post, because I'm not going to do that. But in my mind, what I say to myself is, you need to pray, because what I'm going to pray for is ask God to give you a renewal of your mind based on your lifestyle.
Yeah,
God take the blinders off your eyes regarding your lifestyle, and that you need to make a change. That is my prayer for you. So people do that a lot. They want prayers, but they don't want to change.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Dr. Jerry Davis, man, big shout out to Dr. Jerry Davis, man, good friend of mine. I've met him not too long ago, a couple years ago, and he's a plastic surgeon here.
Okay.
We've had Dr. Davis on the show with us some months ago, man. So welcome back, and Doc, we're here. Just so you guys know, before we go, we are here with Miss Tasha Almeida, and man, look, this has been such an amazing conversation. We have only gotten through two of my prepared questions, and look, I prefer it that way rather than going over the questions. You guys, man, this has been amazing, interactive experience. Except for Shell's Kitchen, I'm just joking, man. It's all love. Look, shout out to Shell's Kitchen each and every week, being a big supporter of Telehealth Tuesday. If you guys now look, even though we're talking about juicing and health now she says that she's got some healthy recipes and things. Now, no shade, I have yet to see them.
Okay.
When it comes to the soul food, if you want to take a day off or something like that, and on the weekend, and Dexter, you talked about soul food. hey, we know, and comfort food and all that. I know that she definitely excels at that, and that is her expertise. But she does say that she offers more. And we're going to bring her back. You know what we're going to do, Tasha? We need to bring you back. We need to bring Shell's Kitchen back. We need to bring Z Fitness back. Chef Poe. We need to get all these folks in here. We need to get all y'all to Good Faith Wellness and do another health summit.
That would be great.
What say you? Tell me if you're interested.
I would love it. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it with in a soft tone with the utmost respect, because my husband and I have this conversation, and where I'd like to see us get as a community in Mississippi is this. I have been to many wellness events, wellness fairs, things like that, and I love it. I love being there. But where I see the coordinators or the hostess make a little error,
Okay.
you're having a wellness event, but you're serving food that's contradictory to wellness.
Say, okay, one more time again for the people in the back, please.
They're having wellness events, but they're serving food that's contradictory to health and wellness. They're serving food that's causing disease, dis-ease, aka disease. And in my mind, I'm thinking that doesn't go. But I understand that sometimes, these coordinators and events, they want to serve the people, right? But you can't tell people they need to do better by their health or have the subject matter experts in there, but you're serving fried chicken. You're serving the mashed potatoes with all of the butter and everything else. And it just grieves my heart when I'm there. Of course, it's not something I partake of, but it's just contradictory. So I would like for us to get to a space as a community where when we're hosting and putting on community wellness events, that we introduce people to a different way of living all the way around.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm so glad you said that. Dexter says, "Say it louder." All my events are served with a healthy.
And he's right. His events are, and that's the only
Yes, indeed.
hostess where I've been in that type of holistic or health environment where a decent healthy meal was served.
That's a great. I really, I have thought of that when I've been places and seen, like you said, uh, fried chicken, and especially when the health event and the seminars at the church, because you got Sister so and so, God bless her, whose legs are filled with gout. Or in the South, as they say, the gouch with a CH on it. And she's got the large legs and the varicose veins and morbidly obese, and she's limping her way over to the kitchen and being in this big jiffy cornbread. And we just got out of, had a sermon and got out of the health summit.
And, God bless our people, right? Because we know how to make a meal with limited ingredients. We are the kings and queens of survival.
That's right.
We want to move away from that. We want to cook healthier foods. We can't stay stuck in that mind of tradition. And tradition gets people messed up. Well, this my grandmama recipe with them 3 pounds of sugar in there in those yams. Really? Really? Like, we can't make those yams a little healthier than that? Like,
terrible.
I mean, grandmama, if she's your elder or your ancestor, whichever one at this point, she won't be mad at you. She will not be mad at you for doing what you need to do to live and thrive. So let's move away from the sugar in the yams.
When she gonna be your ancestor? Because grandma not gonna make it too long.
Grandma, I mean, you know what, Dr. Mike, I'm not about to play.
It's gonna be your ancestor. You have to go to.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Okay, Ty, girl, inbox me. I got the sauces. I got the sauce and the juice. Here, the sauces I make from. I'm gonna bless you with my sauce recipe. So I make a tahini dressing that you can put it on anything. And for me, I make my own cashew cheese sauce just for me, of course, because Peter's allergic to cashews. I put that cashew cheese sauce on everything. The tahini dressing isn't made with tree nuts. It goes on everything. People love it because I've given it with my plant-based meal preps. It goes on everything. Some people say it's just drinkable. It's delicious. And I guarantee you probably already have the ingredients at home in your pantry to make it.
Well, if you don't mind, if
Mhm.
you wouldn't mind blessing Telehealth Tuesday, or at least I got to put a plug now for myself, me with that. Okay.
I will put that
I
in
need,
the chat or wherever I can put that tahini dressing recipe where everyone can enjoy it.
we
And
need that.
whoever won it, like I said, it's one of those dressings that goes on everything. We love it, and it's healthy.
I'm glad you asked. Who that was? That Ty.
That was
Ty, you
Ty.
asked.
Yeah, Ty is on it.
I'm glad you asked that. And so, last but not least, um, Tamika Garrett says, proven facts. We've got CPR, rather if it's for a friend or family certification, or a 2-year certification. She said, I guess, plugging myself. I'm a certified CPR instructor, American Heart Association. Let's get it. Let's get you and your family business scheduled. She put her contact information in. Look, call or text that number, 404-915-8626. And
And
if
I'm
you
glad
mention
she
my
did that.
name, you
Yeah, I'm
mention my
glad she
name,
did that.
look at
Yes,
discount rate.
because
That's all right to me.
yeah, that's a part of being whole person healthy. We have to have the skills that our ancestors and elders didn't have. We have to know how to live and survive, not just with nutrition, not just with moving our body. If that means taking a CPR class, if that means you got to pay for that CPR class and skip that happy hour, wherever you're going to use that money for this week, skip it, because when it comes down to it, CPR is a life skill. There are many life skills that we don't have as people that that we should have. So CPR is one of those life skills that we should have. Do we ever want to need it? No. But I'd rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have
Need it and not have it. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to give Ms. Tasha the floor to let you guys know who she is, how you can contact her, what she's working on. We know you got the event Thursday, so
it.
feel free to plug all that stuff, how you can be contacted, and whatever else you want the folks to know in closing.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining this broadcast. I do appreciate you. I appreciate your questions. Again, my name is Latasha Almeida, and I co-own the Juice Lady WPH alongside with my husband, who's not only my business partner, but my best friend and everything else to me. So we both own the Juice Lady WPH, and we also own our new company, Whole Person Healthy Enterprises. And you can reach us. You can reach the Juice Lady if you want to order something, thejuiceladywph.com. You can also send us an email at info@wholepersonhealthy.org. That's info@wholepersonhealthy.org. If you want to join our Rooted and Renewed Masterclass, please send us an email at info@wholepersonhealthy.org, and we will give you the information that you need to register and sign up for it. If you want help and wellness consultation, please send us an email again to info@wholepersonhealthy.org. You can always connect with us on any of the socials, Facebook and Instagram. You can connect with the Juice Ladies page on Facebook and Instagram at the Juice Lady WPH. WPH stands for Person Healthy. You can always connect with us on our personal pages, Latasha Almeida and also Pete Almeida Jr.
Man, that is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one time for Latasha Almeida.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Mike. This has been a great, informative discussion, and I look forward to coming back.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time and being so generous to work with us on it. And it's been an absolute blessing. And even I've learned something too. And so if I don't attend I probably might not make to that class, but I'm definitely going to get some products. And let's get if you can drop by this week to the office and drop off some of your pamphlets and whatever, we're going to put them right in the waiting room right now, because that's what we believe in. We got to work together. I'm talking
We
about
do.
talking to my mom about that, and she says, unfortunately, our people, you know how it is. We talk about the whole, but we don't want to give in the slave mentality and all that kind of stuff and crabs in a barrel. But I said, look, no, even though you and I do different things, but we partner. But
Yes.
even if we did the same, even if I had the same company like Dexter Mayberry, you
Yes.
guys are similar. There's no reason why we can't help and plug each other, go to each other's events, talk at each other's events. There's no reason. And so I just love the fact that this
I support Dexter and everyone else in the holistic wellness space, and even I love partnering with the medical community, right? Because that's what the end goal should be. How can we serve? How we're here to serve our community and to help them be better. We shouldn't be, it shouldn't be a spirit of division. It shouldn't be no, don't go over there, don't listen to what they have to say. We should be working together so that we can uplift, encourage, and make a positive impact on the community.
I couldn't agree more. We'll leave it there. After I do my brief close, and if you'll just stay behind for maybe 3 minutes so I can wrap with you. We do it every time. We just start with you and just see how we can get with you and get the pamphlets and all that. And we'll work on making a health day and coordinating that with you and Chef Poe and all that too.
Sounds great.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, this has been another amazing episode of Telehealth Tuesday. We thank you all for being so patient with us. I know we got maybe a 5-minute late start, but I feel like it was well worth it. So as always, we want to see you here next Tuesday. And look, don't keep this to yourself. Bring a friend. Don't be selfish now. So bring a friend with you. It's free, just like you heard Miss Latasha say that walking is free. Well, going on God forbid, long as you have internet or a phone, you can see us virtually for free. We're not charging you. Click the subscribe button, Dr. B TV on YouTube, DOCTOR, the letter B as in boy, TV. Also, Good Faith Wellness Center, Instagram, Facebook. New patients are welcome. If you have insurance, great. We take every one of them, even Oscar, the new plan. If you don't have insurance, still great, because we have our own plan. $99, unlimited visits, $99 a month for an individual. 2 people, $179. Family of 4, $229. You'll never find it nowhere like that. You'll never find it anywhere like that. And that's unlimited visits. You can come see us every day if you want to, but please don't do that. All right. So with that said, we'll see you on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, God willing. Next Tuesday, man, I'm going to have Lemmy Mitchell on here. He's a good friend of mine. You know him. Usually he's at Churchill and some other places around Jackson. He's a local guy, but always involved, always supportive. And also, man, Mr. Matt Cuson. Man, you saw him on Steve Harvey's show. He's played for Brian McKnight, Christina Aguilera, Elton John. I can't even remember all the people this man has played keyboards for. He's the most soulful gentleman. You know, when you see his complexion, he's a vanilla brother, but it doesn't matter. He's still a brother, and one of the most amazing musicians reached out to him. He's going to be here because he does more than just music, even though that's enough. So anyway, you don't want to miss that next Tuesday. We'll see you. And remember that true wealth begins with good health. See you next Tuesday.
Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Bookhardt. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today, and remember, true wealth begins with good health.